So today, guys, we'll be diving into another skill build, and I think a lot of you guys might enjoy this one if you guys don't already have this one. This one hits very hard, but I will tell you guys, because of the chest piece talent, you will be on the squishy side, so be very careful. But the chest piece definitely allows us to be one of the hardest hitting skill builds in the game. So it's up there, probably top one, if not top two. And I'm gonna tell you guys, this build just melts enemies. You could just sit back, let the skills do all the work, and since I do have some damage on the capacitor, well, I do use my capacitor to make sure I am proccing the backpack talent. But overall, as long as I can keep that 40 stack, that's what I really worry about on this build. But overall, if you can keep the stacks up, keep the procs going, you're gonna see the damage numbers are there. And then obviously with the holster making each skill that much stronger, you'll start to see some of those numbers look crazy. So if you guys have been looking for a skill damage build and you guys haven't found one that you really like, this might be one for you. I know this is our second one in a week, and I think a lot of you guys, if you guys haven't already put this one together, this might be the one you fall in love with. And obviously, if you're paying attention to the gameplay, you can see the numbers. You can see the numbers that I hit with the capacitor. You can see the numbers that I'm doing with the skills, and if you're paying attention to my procs, you can see when each skill is going to hit harder and why this is so good. We were able to clear this out pretty quick, and it's already over. So how is the build set up? I know that's what you're here for, so let's get into it. So we are running the technician class. Remember, this is going to give us 10% skill damage. This also gives you one skill tier, so if you do want to run 5 yellows and 1 blue, or 5 yellows and 1 red, you more than can with this build. But the way I have it set up, I just have all 6 yellows, but it does give you that option. But we are using it for that 10% skill damage that you get for running the technician class. We are running the capacitor. This is actually one of the hardest hitting skill damage build weapons you can put on, because you also get damage for the amount of yellows you have, and we'll explain that in a second. It has 95,000 damage, 700 RPM, 40 round mag, assault rifle, damage to armor, health damage. Now the talent, this is what I was talking about, allows you to hit hard, because for each yellow skill tier you gain, you get 7.5% weapon damage. You times that by 6, you guys already see we are melting enemies. Now it also, shooting enemy build stack of a cap of 40, each stack grants 1.5 skill damage after 5 seconds. Stacks decay 1 per second. So you can gain a lot of damage by running the capacitor when you have full stack at 40, and even if you don't have a full stack of 40, you're still getting that extra 7.5% weapon damage per skill tier. So if you run 5, 6, 3, it's still going to perform really well, and that's why a lot of people actually like running this. The capacitor is definitely a really good weapon for skill damage builds. Now I'm running the Empress International. I'm running a 3-piece. Now this is going to give us skill health, 10% skill damage, and skill efficiency. Remember, skill efficiency is status effects, skill haste, skill damage. It's all of skills, so that's why skill efficiency is so good. We have 1 skill tier. We have status effects on here, skill damage, and skill haste. Re-roll that status effects for skill haste. That's what I would do, but since I do use this on a different build, I don't want to have to re-roll it. It's god rolled already, so yeah, skill haste is what you want there, not status effects. For the chest, we have a 2-piece Hannah U, so we have 10% skill haste and 10% skill damage. We have skill haste, skill damage, and skill haste on the mod, plus we have glass cannon. All damage you deal is amplified by 25%. All damage you take is amplified by 50%. That's why I'm telling you guys, yes, this talent is great for skill builds, but you are very squishy because you get that amplified incoming damage by 50%. And at 6 yellows and only 726,000 armor, you can see why you're a little squishy, but this puts out a ton of damage. Now we do pair this up with our exotic, the Waveform holster, which I think is one of the best skill damage exotics in the game. This gives us 1 skill tier, skill damage, skill hate's already on there, and then you remember alternating current, generated stack of 3% skill damage on one of your skills every second, capping at 10. So that means it can cap at 30% skill damage, and it goes back and forth, back and forth. So at some point you might have 15% extra on one skill and 50% on another skill. Sometimes it might be 30, sometimes it might be 1, you know, it just goes up and down between the 2 skills, and that's why one skill at any given time can hit very hard, and that's what's actually really cool to see those high numbers. Now we do have the Empress International 2nd piece on the knee pads. We have skill damage, skill haste. Our 3rd piece of Empress International are the gloves, skill haste, skill damage. So obviously you see the trend, since we are running non-status effect skills, you don't need that status effect that you saw on the mask, so make sure you guys put skill haste, skill damage throughout the build. And then for the backpack, we have our second piece of Hannah U that gives us a 10% skill damage. Now the reason I went with the Hannah U is because it comes with force multiplier, and we get 1 skill tier, skill damage, skill haste mod, and then perfect combined arms. Shooting an enemy increases total skill damage by 30% for 3 seconds. So we're getting a lot of extra damage from perfect combined arms, from the amplified 25% and glass cannon, and then obviously the talent on capacitor. So a lot of damage we're getting on this build, and that's why this build hits so hard. So if you guys have been looking for a skill damage build and you don't have any green gear sets, well, this is going to be a great one for you. If you look at the skills, we are running the striker drone. This is going to have 11-second cooldown. This should actually be improved if I remove that status effects and put the skill haste. It has 83,000 damage, base damage. This doesn't include the talents on the chest or backpack or the waveform holster or the capacitor. So just remember that these numbers are going to be way higher than this. And then I pair this up with the assault turret for 136,000 base damage with 10-second cooldown. Same thing here with glass cannon, perfect combined arms, capacitor, and waveform holster. So it's going to be a lot better, right? So that's just something for you guys to keep in mind when you have the turret, when you have the striker drone. Both of these are going to hit very hard on this build, and that's why this skill damage build is actually in the top tier or even the best in the game. So if you guys have any questions, hopefully this answered. You can ask me down in the comments. If you guys want to see a particular build, I've been doing a lot of redo builds, been tweaking things for title update 15 to make different things a little bit better. Let me know in the comments and I'll try to work on that build for you guys. We're gonna wrap up the video here, guys. I appreciate the support, appreciate the love. I will see you guys in the next one, but until then, hey, nothing but skills out. Take it easy, everybody.